Hey friends, so today we're going to go over how to create a signature beaded bezel. If you haven't already watched the tutorial on how to do a deco bezel, that is how you start. I will be starting this again on this end, this other side, but I did kind of get a head start on you all with this piece. But again, if you're like, wait, how do I start right there? Don't worry, you could probably just fast forward if you're not watching this live, and you'll see me start from the other side. But we're going to continue from here. I did start with 4 pieces of 21 gauge square wire as my base wire. They're all 11 inches long. I also started with 4 pieces of 11 inch 22 gauge round wire. Hey Lorraine. I set aside 4 more pieces of 11 inch 22 gauge round wire for the other side, just so you know. So eight pieces of 22 gauge total. All of the materials are in the description of this video, but I'm also working with 2mm beads. I have a 1-inch diameter circle stone. It doesn't have to be a circle, but that's just what I'm working with here. I'm also going to be using a 5mm faceted apatite today. So here goes. Hey Heather, hey Connie, hey Carmen, how are y'all doing? So this will be our back, this will be our front. I'm taking 3 wires for the back, folding them over and squishing them flat, and then scooching them down like that. And then I'm taking just that single wire and wrapping it over like the lace bezel. And then for the beaded side, which is the primary intention of this tutorial, I'm going to take my 2 bottom wires, and I'm going to just put those over, squish them down, and then we'll take our 3rd wire. We're going to go across, keep that nice and lined up with our first 2. I like to take my thumbnail and kind of create some resistance so that I can circle back and do a loop. At this point, you can take your flat nose pliers and kind of just guide that loop. A couple things about the loop: you want to make sure that it is larger than your beads. So your bead should be able to kind of sit in that loop. Hold on. Sit in that loop comfortably like that. And as best as possible, you want that loop to kind of sit centered and snug up against the little rainbow that you've created. And then you'll just lay that down. My first time on a YouTube live. Kinsasha, welcome. And actually live, right? Annalie, hello, my love. Hey, the MZ Hugs, how are you today? Hey, Marlene. All right, now I'm going to take my bead. We're going to run it on that 4th wire. And I usually like to just kind of pull these back so that they're out of the way. We're going to just guide that bead to where it sits in our loop. It's not going to stay there, so don't panic if it comes undone after you've done this. You just want to make sure that the end result, it will sit there. And then you're just going to kind of create a loose loop so that your bead will line up like that. And then press that down. And then we'll do our back. As always with the the deco bezels, you want to make sure that this little hole right here that I'm like poking the wire in, this little hole right here, is always as tight as you can possibly make it, because that is going to determine the integrity of your frame, your cage, if you will. I am Jaded on TikTok. Well, hey Jaded. I'll try my best to remember that. It's your first, are you serious, Marlene? This is your first time in one of my YouTube live streams? Wow. Well, the music isn't as good. But that, you know, that's such as life. Hey Sarah, welcome, welcome. See what I mean about the beads kind of coming out? It's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't stress it. And again, we're doing 2. Over, do our little loop. I just did dishes before I did this, started this live, so my fingers look exceptionally like scraped up, more than usual. It's your first time on any live on YouTube? Well, welcome. I'm glad to have you here. It's a different experience, isn't it? When you guys tap the screen, I can't see it. Also, if you like the video, like if you tap the screen to like it, it's not the same as like liking the video. I don't know what it looks like from y'all's end, but you have to like, I don't know, go out and like the video. I don't really know how that works, but liking the video is different. I don't know. Don't be overly concerned if your loop isn't perfectly centered. After the fact, you can kind of take it and rotate it just a little bit. Even once it's on your pendant, you can adjust it after the fact. It's definitely different. Hola! All right, we'll take these 3. There's also a way to do a beaded bezel where you take just the first wire, and I'm not going to do it right now, but I will tell you how to do it right now. Then you would take the 2 middle wires, you do the loop with the middle wires, and then you finish the same way. And that'll give you like a double loop over your bead rather than just the single loop. I have a couple pictures over on my Facebook that showcase what that looks like. And maybe at some point I'll do an entirely separate tutorial on them, but if you're curious how that's done, that's how it is. It's the same setup. You just do 1 and then 2 for the loops instead of 2 and then 1 for the loop. Almost messed that up. Hey there in the alternate universe. Welcome to the alternate universe. For those of you who are like, what is the alternate universe? Over on TikTok, they don't like us saying YouTube or website. So we've resorted to using phrases like alternate universe. So for my TikTok regulars, we are now in the alternate universe. And if you are on TikTok and you're not following me on TikTok, I highly recommend it. It's the same username as it is here, southern.unique.jewelry. I live stream over there 6 to 7 days a week, and I make almost everything live. For instance, I made this live this week, and the skeleton part live last week. So if you ever want to watch stuff like this get created, please feel free to subscribe over there. YouTube is mostly live streams that end up posted long term. I feel like I'm part of an elite club. I mean, you kind of are, I guess. I don't know. All right, so I'm trying to evaluate if this is going to be... I'm just going to see how far this gets us on our circle before I continue on. Let's see. I think we're like really, really close to where I want to be. So for right now, I'm just going to take these wires and stick them straight up, just kind of give them a little bend so that they're out of my way, and let them exist like this while I flip this over, and I will show you how to start all of this from the beginning. The tubes of you. All right. It is exciting to have more of my TikTok people over here. I do feel more free here to be able to say things that I maybe wouldn't be able to say in TikTok land. Like, go to my website. Oh, wow. That's amazing to be able to say that. Or follow me on all platforms. Whoa. The freedom. All right. So I'm taking those other 4 wires from earlier. And when I start my second side, going the opposite direction, what I have found is I like to flip it over so that I can kind of see these, we're going to call these C's, the 2 little C's on this side. Whereas if you flip it over this way, you've got that one little, just this one little section right here. So we want to flip it to the side that has the two C's and not just this single section that I'm trying to like just show. That little section, right? So the 2 C's go to that side. I find it more easy for my dyslexic brain to process. So basically, I'm going to try and create this same shape right here, going the opposite direction. We want it to be a mirror image. So I just hold these down and pull and rotate to the top, just like that. That way, when I start doing this weave, it'll mirror exactly what's going on the other side, if that makes sense. I hope that made sense. I feel like maybe it didn't, but I'm sure there's at least 2 people maybe that it resonated with. I don't know. I hope it made sense. If it didn't verbally make sense, hopefully visually it helped. It's 22 gauge. Yeah. All of the materials that I'm using, as well as the links, are listed in the description. Okay, so now I'm going to flip my work. I'm going to take my flat nose pliers and kind of put that where that's supposed to go. And then when I start this weave, let me straighten these out. When I start this weave, the key from this point is to start with the section of wires that are the opposite of the direction you are weaving. So in this case, we will be weaving to our right. So we want to grab the section of wires that is leftmost. So this section versus this section, right? So we're going to grab our leftmost wires. I'm going to pinch between my index finger and thumb to kind of keep those nice and in line with each other. And then we're going to round that out again, trying to make sure that this little hole right here is as small as possible. and then you're just going to fold it flat over itself. I'm one of the rare people who never watched you on TikTok, so I'm super glad you came over and joined the YouTube watchers. I'm just starting to learn how to make wire jewelry. Welcome, Mary Beth. I'm glad that you're here. You're welcome, Diego. I'm glad that you're here. Welcome, welcome. And I'm excited that you get to see me live. I was live earlier. I had started this over on TikTok, and I was like, you guys, I haven't done a beaded like tutorial that like you guys can watch back. I was like, can we just migrate over there? So here we are. So I'm going to take my flat nose pliers. These are Xuron 483s, by the way. They're listed. If you go to my website, which is also linked in the description, there's a section that says tools and supplies. There's a section that says jewelry making. And in that section, you'll see a carousel of buttons. And one of them says tools and supplies. All of the tools that I use in my live streams are listed there and where to acquire them. Hey, MJ, how are you? Yes, I'm very excited. Yay! All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take my flat nose pliers, and I'm going to try and cover all of these wires, top and bottom, and squish them down nice and flat, and then pull to straighten them out while I have leverage down here. And then I'm going to take my pliers and my thumbnail and just push this together. Try and make this little gap as small as possible. At this point, you can flip your piece over and make sure that all of these are on the same plane and not like crossing over each other like that. So you want them all kind of lined up together. You can take your flat nose pliers and kind of push those down. That way it's nice and clean, right? It looks clean from the side as well. I have all the tools already. Nice. Heck yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. Very cool. All right, so now we're going to go to the bottom. We're going to do the same thing. And what I like to do is use the back of my hand or my thumb as leverage here, and then use my index finger to fold. I'm also using my thumb here to keep all of these wires nice and level so that they don't cross over each other. And using all of those kind of points of contact, I'm just going to fold these wires over so that they lay very nicely on top of each other. And then we're just going to squish those down and scrunch them. And then every time, as you will notice, I always just kind of straighten my wires just to keep them nice and in line with each other. Okay, so now we'll start the beaded part. As you can see, our beaded part is now on top versus the bottom. So we're going to start with the 2 wires. Fold over, squoosh, that's the technical term, squoosh, straighten. Take that 3rd wire, go across. Now I'm going to use my index finger versus my thumb just because my hands. And then we'll do our little loop. And then you can take your flat nose pliers if you want to kind of coax your loop to where it's the size and shape and placement you want it to be. And just do it very gently. You don't want to squeeze really hard. You're just trying to kind of turn that loop, and then we'll lay that wire down. Also, when I lay that wire down, I do the same thing as I do when I'm making my rainbows, right? I use my thumbnail and my index finger to kind of hold that loop flat so that it doesn't move when I pull and lay that wire down. Hello everyone, I am new to wire wrapping and you have an amazing technique and I appreciate you teaching your style. Of course, thank you for being here, Cindy. I'm happy to have you here. Do you anneal your wire before you begin? No, Pamela, I don't. I buy all raw, dead soft copper wire. So even the sterling wire and the gold-filled wire that I get is all dead soft wire. Craft wire tends to have somewhere between a half hard and a dead soft temper. I never recommend people starting with craft wire, although I know it is very tempting. And if you want to do that, you know, I'm not going to stop you, live your life, but I recommend starting with a dead soft wire. I just saved this. That way I can refer to it later. Yeah, nice. Well, thanks for being here. All right. So now we're going to take our last wire. We're going to add our bead to it. And then we will keep going. Yeah. Squoosh. 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 Jaded, I will forever think of you when I breathe and hear my nose whistle. Probably for the rest of my life. Thank you for that core memory. I do sell starter kits. Yeah, that's true. Thank you. All right. Yeah, if you guys are interested, if you go to my website in the jewelry making section, I do offer starter kits. I'm currently out of the starter kits with cabochons. I'm waiting for those cabochons to show up. They should show up in the next few days. So if you order on the website, there might be a slight delay. They may not go out until next week. But just a heads up on that. Again, if you're watching this not live, then ignore everything I just said. I should have starter kits. But yeah, check out the starter kits. They include 4 different kinds of wire. There's 2 round wires. There's a base wire, which is a 20 gauge round wire, as well as a weaving wire, which is a 26 gauge round wire. And then there's 2 specialty wires included in the kit, and that's this 21 gauge square wire that I'm using right here, as well as a 20 gauge half round wire. I've also included in the kits a little jewelry cloth, as well as some earring backs that I use for like a figure 8 weave bail hack. I just threw those in there so you guys could have them. And then in the ultimate starter kits, there are 10 randomly assorted shapes and size cabochons brought to you by Earthy Vibes. I was trying to understand what GTSU means, and now I get it. It makes sense. I wish I had strong nails. I have extremely weak nails, but hear me out. So I have, I normally have my nails with acrylic, but hear me out. Recently, because acrylic and my nails recently decided to not get along, so I needed to take a break from them. And in preparation for that, I ordered these from Amazon. Oh, hold on. They're guitar picks, right? They're for like people who play guitar, right? And you'll see me use one a little bit later, but you can cut them down if you want and use them in moments where you really need a nail. So I highly recommend getting these. I cut this one down a lot, like a lot. It originally looked like, hold on. It originally looked like this. And then I just took my pliers and cut it down to where it would fit my thumb in a way that I could use it and use it with pressure. And honestly, it has been life-saving in those moments. So I highly recommend doing that. It was super cheap too. I think I paid like $7 or $8 for this whole set. And you'll see me use it later if I can find it, because it's somewhere around here. Somewhere around here. Well, I guess I'll just pull one. The thumb one, the one that's made for your thumb, it's this shape. is great for when you're trying to like space out a wire for like a ribbon setting, to push these wires out, because it's gentle on your stone and your wire, so you're not going to mar your wire or scratch your stone. And it helps, you know, separate those wires to showcase your stone a little bit more. I need to add these to my my list. But anyway, so as somebody from one person with soft nails to another, I hope that helps you. Yeah, I finished the silver piece. You guys are going to distract me like you do in my other live stream, huh? I did finish the silver piece. I'm so excited about this piece. Look at this. Boom! How freaking cool is that? She thick, but still. Okay, all right. Focus, focus, focus. The upside is, since this will be recorded, if you're watching this in the future, how are things? Is it getting better? If you're watching this in the future, you can just fast forward, you know, past me talking too much. And that's great. Isn't that exciting? All right. Squirrel. Exactly. Thanks, friends. I'm really grateful for Anina. She got the double-sided pendant as well as the skeleton one. And both of those pieces have absolutely made my weekend. It's been really exciting to create those for her. All right. Is there anybody here that would really like me to break down and explain kind of the ins and outs of every maneuver that I'm doing right now? Again, I have no problems doing that. Otherwise, I'm probably just gonna like speed run to the finish line. But it's up to you guys. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I can do a rundown again. No problem. Love Dan. Lieutenant Dan. He ain't got no legs. I'm happy for her too. I'm not gonna lie. A couple people have asked if I've ever struggled letting go of a piece after it's done. That one might be a little difficult to let go of. I'll be sad to see it go, but then I'll forget about it. Because I have the memory of a goldfish. Until like a year from now when I look back at my pictures and I go, oh yeah, that's right. That was a really cool piece. I forgot about that. I've been buying loose stones for the past couple of years, knowing that I wanted to start doing this. That's awesome. Is the breakdown at the beginning of the stream? Yep. Yes, it sure is. It's actually kind of at the middle a little bit. It's when I started here, but I also tried to do like a rundown when I finished these. So it's kind of throughout, but you know what? I'll do it one more time. And maybe again, if somebody asks, but I start for the beaded side. I start with the two wires, that are closest to the direction that I'm weaving. And then I take that third wire and go straight across, making like a little rainbow here. And then I will loop it back on itself, trying to keep it as centered as possible. You can use your flat nose pliers very gently to kind of coax it a little bit smaller. And then I continue that kind of rainbow aesthetic all the way down and fold it back like that. And then I'll take my pliers and squish it and squish. And then we add our bead to that fourth wire. Hey, Lori, how are you? So wrong. Perfect. Then you can go at your own pace. I'll edit that part out. We can continue to pretend like I know how to read. I probably won't edit that out. I'm too lazy to go back and edit that stuff. Y'all just have to accept me as I am. They're 2mm beads. But if you wanted to go a little larger, just make your loop a little bit larger. That's all you really need to do. Just keep in mind that the larger the bead, the more it's going to stick out from your piece when you're done. All right, so now we're going to use 3. And 1. And I think this will be our last one in theory, hopefully, maybe, possibly. And this will be our last beaded one. Thank you for the love, you guys. For those of you who are new here, welcome. I'm happy to have you here. You know, please like and subscribe and hit the bell if you want notifications for when I go live again. Do the beads roll down? So when this is loose as it is right now and not on your stone, there's actually nothing like preventing it from rolling. So they're going to do that in this current state. However, once they are pressed against your stone and you push the metal down, they'll be secured in place and in theory will remain in their little trap. Beads in the trap. Beads, beads in the trap. Sorry, not sorry for that. When I tell you I am struggling with any interaction of this bezel, I have yet to get it right. At what point in the process are you struggling most? Because hopefully I can kind of walk you through that and kind of troubleshoot where the issue is happening. From what I have found from people who have reached out and said that they struggle with it. Most of the time they are making, sorry, it's easier to point this out with a scrap wire. Most of the time what's happening is people are making this little loop right here. This is actually like a really loose version of this and I should have made it tighter, but nevertheless, here we are. They're making this little loop right here, this section, far too wide. And that can create some serious issues when it comes to the integrity of your piece and holding your stone in. Because what will happen is these wires, these 4 little wires that are curved over right here, will start to pucker out when you go to fold everything over. And it makes it much more difficult to secure your stone. So that's the first thing I would recommend making sure that you are not doing, is leaving a big gap right here. This is less ideal. This is more ideal. These smaller gaps are most ideal. Love this. Thank you for sharing. Of course. All right. All right. You can fold this right here if you want. You could not fold this if you want. I'm going to fold it. Okay, you could fold it in just like a V. You could fold it like I'm about to fold it, which is where I'm actually going to like crimp it down. Or because we're working on a circle, you could not fold it at all, just so you know. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little, separate this, make a little section right here. I'm going to fold everything like this. Make sure everything lines up. Then I'm going to take my flat nose pliers and I'm going to squish all of that down like that, and then open this back up. When I open this back up, make sure that my folded over pieces are towards the inside, right? So this is our outside, and then this is the inside. Outside, where it's sticking out, inside. So we want to make sure this part is on the inside. How far apart are your sections? Like, oh, honestly, that was probably, half inch, a little over a centimeter. It could be wider, it could be smaller. It really, you kind of got to feel it out, what works for you. It's preference. But I think mine specifically was about a half inch, would be my guess. And because of where I'm at, if I have enough like movement, I can scooch them out more or push them in more if necessary. Honestly, yes, it's probably that, even though I have heard you say that before and try to be conscious of it. I mean, it happens. I would just, you know, kind of investigate the pieces that you have attempted and see if maybe that's happening. And then if that's not it, you know, reach out and maybe we can kind of discuss what could be happening. Okay, so I'm just kind of shaping this out to roughly the size of my stone. I don't want this to go all the way around my stone. I just want it to go enough to where I can do a bezel up here and make it fancy and cute. I do think I'm going to add another section, another like rotation of this before I close this in. So I'm debating whether or not I want it to be beaded though. I think I'm just gonna go with the single rainbow section. So we'll go ahead and do that. So we'll do one from this side. And then one from this side. Squish. Okay, and then I'm going to open this up just slightly so that I can go in here and cut. Make sure when you cut, always cut with your flush side of your cutters towards your work. Okay, so the flat side is your flush side. Okay, that way you get a nice clean cut. I'm going to go in here and cut just like that. And then we'll do the same thing here. Just lift up and cut just like that. And then I'll take my flat nose pliers and just go ahead and lay those down. All right. Same thing on this side. Sarah, one thing that might help you when you're doing this, I will show you right now. One thing that might help you to make sure that that little section is as small as possible is instead of trying to take all 4 of your wires at the same time, go one at a time, right? It's not going to hurt anything. So you can just take that one wire and kind of guide it around and then lay it over, right? That way you know that that's nice and tight, right? And then do the same thing with the next 3. And maybe, just maybe, that will kind of help you with that, because I know going all 4 at the same time can be daunting. So try that and let me know if that helps. I will say when I cut these wires, I do try and make sure that they're covering like at least 3/4 of my base wires. You want them to pass the halfway point. That way they're super sturdy. I have to make myself be patient with it. Yes. And if you find yourself getting frustrated, put it down, walk away. And then when you have that mental energy, come back, start again. All right. So we just kind of want to see where we're at with our stone. And then usually what I like to do here is kind of eyeball how large this space is. So like as they're crossing, I kind of eyeball how large this little section between here and up here is, right? And then when I do that, I try and find a pair of pliers that the box section of the pliers is roughly that same size, right? So I know it lands right around here. If I take that and I look, okay, that box is like the perfect size, right? Sometimes if I need like a larger size, I'll use these pliers. As you can see, they're much wider than these. Of course, it doesn't look like it on screen, but they are wider, I promise. So you can kind of figure out that size. And then I like to go in here because I hate measuring. I don't know about you guys, but I hate measuring everything. If I can avoid measuring, I will. For me, it's getting it going. I'm so embarrassed. They just slip around. It's hard. Don't be embarrassed. That is honestly the most difficult part. It is getting it started. Trying to think of the best like advice I can give as far as starting it. Were you here for the beginning of this one? Oh, I just confused names. Heather. Sorry, my bad. Make sure when you do it, don't be embarrassed. When you do it, you clamp them down. Once you kind of get them in place, clamp them down so that they don't slip on you. But no, I don't think you're alone. I'm about to move back to my house after 7 months. This is perfect for packing. Oh, cool. Very cool. No, you're not alone. You're not alone in that. I have a couple of different round nose pliers, but but I need a couple other sizes. Make sure you just if you go to my website, there is a section marked jewelry making, and in that section you'll see tools and supplies. It's got all the tools that I use in the live stream. All right, so I'm taking the box of those pliers that I just kind of measured that out with, or I really eyeballed it out with, and then I'm putting my base wires in the box section of those pliers. I'm not clamping down hard because you will leave lines if you do so. And I'm just lining it up with my weave, and I'm simply going to take my thumb and go straight up. And then I know if I just flip to the other side that this is going to be the same size. I don't have to measure anything. I already know that this section and this section are the same size. I love that you don't measure things. I mean, who wants to measure? I just try and avoid it at all costs. Like, why would I want to do that? right. All right, so that fits pretty neatly in there. I don't have the patience for measuring. Me neither. Why would I want to do that? Also, like, why not use, work smarter, not harder, right? Like, why not use the tools that you have in front of you than, like, I don't know, sit there. I don't know. I feel like there's always something lost in translation too when I try and measure something, and then like I go and use that measurement for whatever I'm doing, and then I like somehow manage to still, like, it's still off every time. Maybe that's just me. I'm sure there's somebody out there that can relate to that. But it just seems like whenever I measure something, like somehow, some way, it still ends up being wrong. And I have more luck when I just eyeball things or use little hacks like the one I just showed you guys. Sorry, I dropped a wire. I gotta pick it up. But it's like trying to pick up a penny with acrylic nails. All right, we're good. We're good. Everybody calm down. All right. Right? All right, so I am taking a 6-inch piece of half round 20 gauge. It is scrap wire, so let me straighten it out a little bit because it's seen better days. Too bad I panicked already. I believe in you, Sarah. I believe in you. Okay, so I'm going to fold that in half. Not all the way, just like a little loopity like this, right? Can I claim? Yeah, absolutely. I can give you an item number over on my website once this is finished, and you are welcome to claim it. All right, so finding the front of our piece. It's up to you which side you want to be the front, but I'm going to go with the beaded side. Okay. So the front of our piece, we're going to look at the front. From the front, we're going to take our half round flat side in. I guess I should have said that when I said fold it in half. Fold it in half flat side in. And we're just going to like straddle our bezel, our base wires. And then I usually just like to kind of pull and rock back and forth because that seems to kind of pinch that around all 8 of those wires. And then one side at a time, I'm going to guide flat side in through and out the front. Same thing over here, flat side in through and out the front. Now, if you are a perfectionist like me, you're going to want these to line up perfectly. You are. And I do every single time, and it hurts my heart because I know that these 2 wires are going to fight for this space, and they rarely will line up like I want them to. So just, put that feeling in a box and hide it in a dark, dark closet and never open it again, okay? Because it's not going to line up the way you want it to, and you just have to accept that, okay? Anyway, so you're going to take those flat side towards your work, right? And you're going to lay them down like that, right? And you'll see what I mean. They're going to fight for that space. It is what it is, right? And you're going to try your best to line them up. Take your flat nose pliers. You're going to go in here, right? Make sure that these are over top of your base wires here, right? See how they're just all kind of lined up together? You're going to go in here, go over all of them. Focus. And you're going to squoosh, gently squoosh them down so that everything, oh, look how nice that is. You see what I mean? See how the ones go in, this one it doesn't matter. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Because that's in a dark closet now, and we're not worried about that anymore. Anyway. Now we're going to take about Fight Club. Now we're going to take, honestly, I grabbed just a scrap piece of wire. Why I have an 18-inch piece of scrap half round, who's to say? But I would recommend at least 12 inches. You may not need that much, but you definitely don't need 18, but that's what I had sitting here. So half round wire, we're going to take that. This is the back of our piece, right? We're going to take the flat side toward us, and we're going to just kind of wedge it between those 8 wires right there, right? As close to the bottom there as possible, right? And then you're going to take your index finger and thumb and kind of pinch it there as best as you can. And then you're going to roll around all 10 of those wires twice, 3 times, 4 times, whatever makes you happy, but at least twice. I'm going to go for 3. It kind of depends on how tall you want your piece to be. But I would definitely try and aim for at least twice. You might be able to get away with just once. But I would recommend, for the sake of the integrity of your piece, go for just twice. Or at least twice. I'm just going to scooch these up just a little bit because I can't handle it. Okay, so now that we're here, we're going to take our back 3 square wires. So, and we're going to bend them to their respective sides. So 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. And then we're left with 2 square wires and 2 half round wires. Hi friend, how are you? At this point, you'll take your half round wire and you will continue. I like to just kind of pull it between all of those towards the front like this. And you're going to wrap around, making sure that your half rounds are laying nice over top of your squares. And you're going to go around, I don't know, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times a lady. I don't know, whatever makes you happy. Okay. Again, it kind of depends on how tall you want it to be, but probably at least twice would be ideal. This is a ribbon bail setting, by the way. The hardest part for me is trying to see which wire is which when there's a big clump of them. Yeah, and if you're working with round wire, it's so much more of a pain. If you make it a habit to like straighten your wires just constantly, neurotically, it makes it easier. But when I tell you, when I try and do these with round wires, it does become more difficult to figure out which wire is which. So I can relate to that. Yeah, the struggle is absolutely real. Okay, so now you're going to take those half round wires and you're just going to pull them straight up like this. Ta-da! And then we're going to open our square wires like this. We want that V to be like nice and symmetrical with the rest of our piece, right? And then you're going to make a diamond shape that's just a tad more narrow than whatever stone you decide to choose for your faceted stone. Okay? Love your ribbon bail. Thanks, my love. That's what she said. Not in my YouTube live. We got to keep it appropriate over here. I think my grandma watches over here. Okay. So, I'm just going to use my flat nose pliers to kind of gauge how far out to go. But I'm going to be real with you guys. I am 100% eyeballing it, and yeah, that's just where I'm at. Sometimes I get it wrong, and we got to do it again. You can see the comments on replay. You absolutely can see the comments on a replay. Not on every YouTube live video, but on mine you can, because I get the option to allow it. and I allow it. I'll allow it. And the reason I allow it is because otherwise it looks like I'm just talking to myself. And I don't want to look like I'm talking. I don't want to look like I'm talking to myself. It's okay. You said it, not me. Well, I guess she said it, huh? Hi, Grandma. She's always the perfect amount of appropriate. I've never been able to see the comments on yours, but maybe sorry, Hallie's grandma. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I've got the settings all wrong. I don't know. I just work here. I don't know. Look, technology is not my forte. All right. So now we've made our little diamond. And we're going to cross our fingers that it's just the right size. And then we're going to drop our, oh, it's perfect. And then we're going to drop our little stone in there. Aww. Now we're going to take our half round wires. And what I usually like to do is take my tweezer nose pliers and just kind of guide that over top. I go just a little bit past my my stone, and I pull back like this at this angle, and then I push down, and then for some reason that seems to like kind of work. I don't know, but that's what I do. I have found that making like a perfect little railroad across them like this works really well, because when you once you set it and everything, when you push it apart with our little tool guy, it seems to set really well. Yes, Diego, this will be available in the future. So hi people in the future. I'm speaking to you from the past. Okay, so now I'm going to take my half round wire and continue coiling around everything. I like to push these half round wires on the top just a little bit to the left, just so when I pull this around and it naturally pulls them down, they'll be more centered. That's just like me compensating a little bit. This looks amazing already. Thank you, Diego. I appreciate that. All right, and then we're just going to roll around twice. Then you can take your flat nose pliers and then kind of squish those down. I like to go in here and just kind of push that section a little bit too. And then I cannot stop myself from doing this little extra tidbit every time I do these, but it's not required at all. So I'll lift up my half round wires, and then I'll just go around just the square 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, whatever makes you happy. You know, it's art. Dream it, be it. Do whatever your heart desires. But I like to do 2 and 2. As you notice, every time I go over top of the 2 wires, I will take my flat nose pliers and go just past the rotations that are underneath and just push that down so that it lays nicely, so that when I wrap around it, it gives this nice like flat, pretty. Do what your art desires. Oh my gosh, I feel like that should be a t-shirt. That's brilliant, MJ. I love that. That's solid. I like that a lot. I feel like I need like an inspirational poster that says that now. With like a kitten that's painting or something. It's a great quote. I'm here for it. Does it exist already? Probably does, but it doesn't matter. I don't care. It's original. It's an original in this moment. I was thinking of like a cliche like 90s poster where it's like got that like, I don't know, 90s aura, and it's like this fluffy kitten that's got like a little prop easel and painting. There's a name for the little thing. What is it called? The palette. Is it the palette? Is that what it's called? Is there another word for that? Is there another word for that? Anyway, I think it'd be really cute. All right. So I've probably gone too far, but that's as far as we're going on this. So to end this situation, I'll only go around once, right? And then I'll lift up, take my flush cutters. I'll go in as close as I possibly can without cutting more wire than I intend to, flat side toward my work, and I'll cut, leaving what looks like this. Then I'll take my flat nose pliers and go in here and push those down nice and firm like that. Hang in there, kitten. Exactly, that kind of like cliche poster. And then I do usually like 4 rotations total at the end there. And then you can take your flush cutters, and I cut halfway across the back. And then we lay that down like that. A little more than halfway, but you know, you get the point. I don't know how to pronounce that, but hi, how are you? I'm disappointed in myself that I can't pronounce that, but hello. All right, so above our rotations, I'm going to take my flat nose pliers and I'm going to bend a 90-degree angle like that. I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to take my index finger. I'm using my thumb as resistance and to hold that stone kind of where it is. And I'm using my index finger and I'm just going to push towards myself. Then with my other thumb, I'm going to bend around my index finger and then just kind of coax that whole situation into this section of my pendant. And then we will lift both sides, tickle, tickle, and then take these. I like to use my flat nose pliers here because I like to keep this nice and flat, and just pull across to the back. Love what you do. Thank you so much. Same with this one. Pull to the back. And then I go across here with both pieces. I usually go about out. I usually eyeball the same size section, like, hold on. So like this size section, right? I'll eyeball out about the same amount from there, if that makes sense at all. So like this section of wires, we're gonna go out just about that far, right? Kind of see that? And then cut. So it looks like that. Tickle, tickle. And then I'll just take those and bend them in and flatten them down. Same thing on this side. Bend it in, flatten it down. Boop, boop. And then I like to go in here and do this and then kind of flatten all of that so that it looks nice. And then he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Anyway, I think this is the first time like YouTube's really getting the feel of how weird my live streams are over on TikTok. There's just enough people here from TikTok that I'm a little more in my comfort zone today. I speak Hallie. Fair enough. Yes, Kinsasha, this live will be saved. Unfortunately, you get to hear my weird in the future too. Whoa. And that means I'll never go back and watch it because I will find it very cringy. All right. So we're going to find that here it is. I found it for some reason. It's over here. So we take this. I'm using my thumb and my index finger to provide some resistance so that the stone doesn't get pushed out. And I'm going to just kind of wedge it in there and push very gently on that half round so that it opens up and showcases our stone just a little bit better. There we go. There we go. Aww. I'm so happy the change has not been too difficult. I've had my moments. I'm here for the cringe part. You would be. I love the in the future. Have a wonderful night as well. And in the future, if you watch this in the future, I hope you have a wonderful night that night too. This night? All right, so now we have this. At this point, we are going to move our focus from our bezel down to, or from our bail down to our bezel. And we're going to put our focal stone in, and then we'll move back to the bail when we're done with that. I've yet to add a faceted stone to anything because I also have yet to make this kind of design work. Well, you'll get there. I believe in you. All right. So I'm going to the back of my piece and I'm taking my flat nose pliers and I'm just going to line my flat nose pliers up with those 4 wires from the opposite side, right? Like this. That's nice and lined up like that. And very gently, you are not going to grab and death grip right here because you will mar your wire. So don't do that. Oh, you just followed on TikTok? Oh, you're in for a treat. Thank you. All right, so, and then we're just going to gently fold those wires over and we're going to just kind of go all the way down like that. Boop. Though I will still likely only be watching you on here. That's okay. The TikTok lives are a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun over there. A lot of fun. There's also arguably a ton. It's not even arguably. There is a ton more content and more stuff made in my live stream on TikTok because everything that I make is made over there, not just the things that I'm like at the point where I'm like, all right, let's teach somebody how to do this. It's stuff that I'm like, let's see if maybe we could come up with the design for this. So there is more stuff happening over there because of that. All right, so now we're going to take our stone. We're going to figure out the direction in which it flashes the most. Let's say that's not it. I think like right there is probably our sweet spot. Oh, right there. Sweet spot right there. I believe in you. I'll be happy to see you either way. All right, and then we're just going to kind of nestle it in there. At this point, you should not expect your stone to sit in there comfortably and stay. Just don't. Keep your expectations low at this point. You are holding it in there 100%. So now you're going to do the same thing on this side, but because we have the beaded situation, it gets a little more difficult. So what you can do is very gently take the back of your pliers and just kind of fold it in slightly. Don't worry about the bead at this point. It's not worth your mental energy. And honestly, don't worry about whether or not your stone is laying in the direction it's supposed to lay. If you're working with a round stone, that is. Okay. Now, I will say, try and not get your beads all the way back here. You kind of want to be able to at least get to them. So like, don't fold them over to a point you're actually like hiding the bead from yourself. You still want to be able to like access it, but it doesn't have to be in the loop just yet. Okay, so now you have something that's kind of staying together a little bit. I'm already worrying about the bead. Worrying is my forte. Put that worry in a box and shove it in a dark, dark closet, Sarah. You'll be okay. All right, so now you can go in here and very gently, just to get a little bit extra hold, and you can go in. Do not do this. I repeat, do not do this with regular pliers. You will break your stone. And I'm telling you, you can't blame me when you break your stone doing it. Listen to me. Okay? Nylon gel pliers only. Okay? Anyway, very gently. Yeah, if you're getting a lot of this action, where see how it's like puckering right there? If you're getting a lot of that action, it's because your little loops are more loose than they need to be. That little spot that I was talking about earlier is a little more loose. It's going to happen. As you can see, it's going to happen a little bit, but that is usually the culprit issue. She tells no lies. I've broken a stone in a live stream doing that. People have watched me do it. And I loose loops. I was trying to think of like an expression along the lines of like loose lips sink ships, right? But with loose loops. Oh man, right? I mean, it is what it is. I actually think what happened in that live stream when I broke the stone, I don't know why I'm worried about that. I think in the live stream where I broke the stone, it like was still secured in there, and I ended up selling it as is to somebody because like it didn't look broken. It was secure in there. The piece where it snapped, like they stayed together. And like I just sold it to a person who was 100% aware of the condition, and they just got it at a nice deep discount, and we all went on with our lives. All right, so I'm trying to think. We'll start with the back on this. So I just have a polishing cloth, just something that has like a little give to it to put on here. This is a burnishing tool. You can find it if you go to my website. There's a section marked jewelry making, and in that section you will see tools and supplies. It's in there. So as you can see, my stone is like pushing up a little bit higher on the right side here than the left. So I'm going to go over there because I feel like it's going to compensate if I push down on this side first. In theory, it'll push up more on this side. So yeah, that's the rhyme and reason for why I'm going to this top corner first. So we're going to go up here, and we're going to take our burnishing tool. And I like to, since you guys can't really see very well, I like to go in and kind of put it right in that spot that I was telling you guys about. That spot right there. And then basically you're going to apply pressure and then apply pressure and then just kind of lay all of those down. So I'm going to try and do this in a way where you guys can see what I'm doing. But no promises. Okay. So I'm just going to lay those down like that. Can you see? Not really. Maybe if I go this way, you guys will see a little better. I can't see the camera, but I'm wondering if you guys can see a little better from that angle. Can you guys see better from that angle? I'm going to keep doing it. You guys let me know if you're able to see better from that angle, because I can't see the camera. Yeah. Yes. Okay, good. Good, good, good. I also, the little pieces that are puckering out, I like to take this like little rounded edge here and kind of push on those, push them forward. And that helps a lot too. I just go around. I'm trying so hard for you guys to be able to see. And for me to be able to see. And to also not break the stone. Okay, like that. And then we'll go over to the other side, do the same thing. Actually, that might be easier from this. I don't know. I'm trying my best, you guys. I really want you to be able to see. That one's not too bad. That's not a terrible angle. I wonder if I can. There we go. That's a better angle. Okay. Okay. Now we'll go over to this side. Again, we don't want to like lose the bead. What I like to do for the beaded ones is kind of push from the inside first and not worry about the beaded situation until after I've already kind of laid the rest of that down. I am just going to scoot that. There. My guy, what are you guys doing? What are you doing over there? Sorry. There, and there, and there. Do the same thing over here. Part of the reason I put my finger in place right here is it does work really well. I mean, that's it's made for that in metal smithing. I'm sure there are other uses for it. I think it's used in leather work as well. But the first time I ever saw this tool used was specifically for doing something like this, but with metal smithing. The reason I put my finger here is because I can grow my finger back, but the stone I cannot unbreak or scratch. No, but seriously though, it is to, if it slips, as horrifying as it sounds, I would rather it hit my finger than hit the stone. Anyway, if you don't have one of these tools, the backs of your flat nose pliers also work really well. If you just use like the corner, it does work really well. So if you don't want to go out and buy a new tool, you can use that as well. All right, so now that it's like mostly secure, right, we can go in and we can be more concerned about how our beads are laying, which is why I say, like, if I had spent all of this time worried about the beads up until now, it would have just been a waste of time, honestly. So no reason to worry about the beads until now. Okay, so now what I try and do, of course, these have like laid weird, is hook that little loop with my bezel tool or my burnishing tool. So many B words. And then I kind of push it down over the bead like that. This takes a decent amount of finesse, and RIP your fingertips, by the way, if you're trying to protect your stone. I would absolutely recommend practicing this on harder stones. I wouldn't recommend trying this for the first time over like a lepidolite or a selenite or I don't know, chrysocolla, because if you get this far in the piece and you do that and you scrape across the face, or fluorite, you scrape across the face, you might cry. I would cry. And again, this is just another lesson I learned in front of hundreds of people in a live stream one day. So please let me learn the lesson so you don't have to. If I was working with a fluorite, I would be exceptionally more, what's the word I'm looking for? Careful right now than I'm being. Okay, now we're in, and I'm going to turn this stone so that it has that nice flash to it. There we go. And then we'll go back in here. Kind of just one more round to kind of tighten everything in. It is tedious, but it's worthwhile. That extra little bit of reinforcement can go a long way. If you feel like your stone's not secure, sometimes you need to kind of go around like this a couple more times, go through each side a couple times to really make sure that everything is as tight as it possibly can be. Okay. All right, so now we have our bezel. Where do I sell my pieces? I sell my pieces on my website and on TikTok. Each item gets an item number, and then you can actually go claim the item number through my website. I generally sell on TikTok, but I can make it to where you guys can claim through here as well. All right. I think I'm going to do a more intense bail on this one. All right. There we go. All right, do the same thing over here. Yeah, I wish this side had stayed straight because that other side looks really nice and straight like that. There we go, problem solved. There we go. Is this one possible to purchase? Yeah, absolutely. I can give you an item number if you would like. Because of the appetite, this one's going to be like right at 98, but I can make that absolutely available for you if you'd like. My website should show up in the description. Can you tell me if it's showing up in the description? southernuniquejewelry.com. I'm not outrageously familiar with how the live stream looks from you all's end. I'm much more familiar with how TikTok's live streams are set up. Like, I know I put it in there, but I don't know how it shows up for you guys. It does for you? Okay. So I can make an item number for it. I will say, before I even make an item number for it, for the sake of people potentially watching this in the future, if you are watching this and it is not Sunday, October 26th, 2025, then that item number is no longer good. Just to put that out there. So don't think you can just claim this with an item number after today. If you're watching this in the future. But if it is still October 26th, 2025, and the item number I give this is still available over on my website, then it's up for grabs. There you go. Actually, I'll go ahead and get you an item number. So what you'll do to claim it, and I'll list it for 98, we'll cap it at that. What you'll do is you'll go to the website, www.southernuniquejewelry.com, and then it should be the second button down. Let me double check. It is. It's the second button down. It's wiggling at you. It says click here to claim an item in the live stream. You'll go there, you'll click here to claim an item in the live stream. And then you will claim, if you would like this piece, it is again first come first serve, so once it's gone, it's gone. You'll claim item B from the drop down menu. So essentially you'll go here, this is my website, you'll click the click here button, it'll bring this up, you'll select style, and then you'll select item B. You'll select quantity 1 because for some reason it won't let you go forward after that. You add to cart, claim it, and then it's all yours. It will be oxidized, just a heads up. But yeah, and again, if it is October 27th, 2025, tomorrow, and you see item B, don't buy it thinking that you're getting this pendant because it could be something completely different. So just a heads up. But that item number will be good until midnight on today, October 26th, 2025. All right. Let's just do 3. I just realized what time it was. if I love that I just did that, honestly. We're gonna roll with it because it's not getting undone. I actually, like, with that in the background, don't hate that. It's kind of a vibe. Okay. I'm currently obsessed with like fleur-de-lis. So that's kind of the vibe we're going with here. Go. Make sure that we've got this set to where it's going to have the best flash. We'll kind of crank everything in a little bit more. So sad I missed most of this. I just got here. Well, fortunately for you, this live stream is recorded. So you can watch the whole thing back. There we go. Oh, I love it. I'm glad we stuck with the appetite. We chose the appetite over on TikTok earlier. I was a little unsure about it, but I'm super pleased with it. And again, if it is still October 26th, 2025, and you would like to claim this piece, it is item B over on the website, www.southernuniquejewelry.com. Select the second button down that says click here to claim an item from the live stream, and then you'll grab item B from the drop-down menu that says style. It will be oxidized, which means that it will look like this. The metal will look like this. It'll be antiqued, so just so you know. Me too. Yeah. And that's it, guys. Are there any questions before I hop off here? Comments, concerns, whatever. Yeah, that's it. Thank you all so much for being here. Please make sure you hit the like button on this video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button on this video. My son, very specific, he's 6. For those of you who don't know, he's about to be 6. He'll be 6 on Friday. For those of you who don't know, my son's awesome. He very specifically requested that I let you all know that, and I quote, no one has subscribed to this channel upside down. So you should do that. And that's it, guys. Thank you for being here. I'm very happy I got the notification in time to still watch you working. Yeah, I'm really glad that you came here, Mary Beth. I appreciate you being here. All right. I love you guys. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for supporting my livelihood. And you know, giving me this opportunity to make art for a living. It's a true blessing, and I appreciate you all, and I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon, evening, night, morning, day, whatever time it is. Future. Okay. Love you guys. Bye.